The accident changed everything. It started with urgency. Steffi was behind the wheel, speeding through late afternoon traffic. The light was fading, rain streaked the windshield, and her daughter Kelly sat buckled into the passenger seat, nervous but calm. They were heading to the hospital, not for Kelly, but for Liam. He was scheduled for brain surgery that evening, a risky but necessary procedure after weeks of headaches and unexplained blackouts. Steffi had insisted on bringing Kelly so she could see her father before going under. A moment of comfort, a moment of strength. But the road had other plans. A car swerved in front of them. Steffi turned too sharply. Tires screeched. The world flipped. Metal crunched. Glass shattered. Then, silence. When the paramedics arrived, Steffi was dazed, bleeding from a gash above her eyebrow, but responsive. Kelly wasn't. She was unconscious, pinned beneath the collapsed passenger side door, her small frame crushed by the force of impact. There was too much blood. Too little time. They were rushed to the hospital. Liam, already prepped for surgery, was wheeled past the gurney carrying his daughter. He tore out the IVs, ripped off the surgical gown, and shouted until someone told him what happened. The surgeon warned him that delaying his own operation could put his life at risk. "I don't care," Liam snapped. "Do whatever you need, take my blood, take my damn life if it helps her. Just save my daughter." And that's when the truth began to unravel. The ER doctors moved fast. Kelly needed a transfusion immediately. Liam, a universal donor, was first to step up. But as they began matching his blood, the attending nurse frowned. Something was off. The blood types weren't compatible, not in a way that made sense genetically. The attending physician ordered a full hematology workup to confirm. Within an hour, the results came back. Liam Spencer was not a biological match for Kelly. He wasn't her father. The news hit the hospital like a bomb. Steffi, bruised but conscious, was called into a private room where the chief medical officer gently broke the news. She stared at the paperwork in disbelief. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. The math didn't add up until it did. Until that memory came flooding back. Years ago. The accident. The foggy night when she crashed near the cliffs, concussed and barely breathing. The paramedic who found her, stabilized her, saved her life. John Finnegan. Her hands began to shake. The doctor said, "We've confirmed with additional markers. The biological father is Dr. Finnegan." Steffi felt the ground drop beneath her. Meanwhile, Finn had no idea. He was in surgery when the discovery was made. By the time he scrubbed out, Kelly had been stabilized with emergency donor blood, and the hospital was buzzing with quiet murmurs and rumors. One of the nurses, unable to contain her shock, approached him. "Dr. Finnegan, they're saying Kelly, she's your daughter." He froze. "What?" "She was in the crash. They tested blood compatibility. She's not Liam's. The DNA, it matched you." Finn stood in stunned silence, gloves still on, surgical cap dripping sweat. He burst into the lab, demanded the results, and saw them for himself. The documents were clear. No ambiguity. No room for error. Kelly was his daughter. The revelation set off a storm none of them could control. Liam was the first to explode. He cornered Steffi in the ICU waiting area, trembling, pale, eyes red-rimmed with fury and disbelief. "How long have you known?" "I didn't," she choked. "Liam, I swear, I didn't know. Not until now." "So what?" "She's not mine. Everything I've done. Everything I've been to her, none of it meant anything." "That's not true. I left my surgery for her. I was ready to die for her. I never meant, you let me believe she was mine. You let me build a life around her. You took my daughter." Steffi collapsed into sobs. But Liam walked away. And Finn? He couldn't speak. He sat alone in the hospital chapel for hours, replaying every moment with Steffi. Every time he'd looked at Kelly and thought she reminded him of her mother. Now he saw the subtle curve of her chin, his chin. The shape of her eyes, his eyes. He remembered the intimacy of that night after saving her, how she had clung to him, how raw it had been. Had he crossed a line? Had he violated something sacred? He was a doctor, a man sworn by the Hippocratic Oath. Had he manipulated her in a moment of weakness? He confronted Steffi days later, after Kelly had been moved out of critical condition. "I need to know," he said. "That night, after the accident, did I take advantage of you?" Steffi looked at him, hollowed out by grief and guilt. "No, you didn't. I wanted it. I needed someone. You were there. We never thought there would be consequences. But there were." Finn sat down, his face in his hands. "I have a daughter, and I never knew her. Because of a mistake. Because of me," Steffi whispered. The media caught wind of the scandal. Spencer Publications refused to run it, out of respect for Liam. But other outlets weren't so kind. Rumors exploded across the tabloids. Paternity shock in the Forrester dynasty. Liam betrayed again. Finn's forbidden child. Ridge tried to do damage control. But the truth was out. Hope confronted Steffi, bitter and cold. "You always take what isn't yours." Steffi didn't fight back. Taylor urged her to disappear for a while, to take Kelly and leave LA. But Steffi refused. "This is my mistake. I own it." Liam, shattered, began spiraling. He missed follow-up appointments for his surgery. He drank. He stopped answering calls. Wyatt and Bill tried to intervene, but he shut them out. "I don't know who I am anymore," he said. "I don't even know if I want to be." The final blow came at Kelly's bedside. Liam stood by her as she slept, tubes still in her arms. Her face bruised, but healing. Finn entered quietly, holding a book, her favorite. "I can read to her, if you want." Liam didn't respond. Finn sat beside her, opened the book, and began reading. His voice was calm, warm. Kelly stirred slightly. Liam watched for a moment. Then, without a word, turned and walked away. He didn't come back the next day, or the day after. Steffi tried to reach him. No response. Hope found him instead, at the edge of Mulholland Drive, staring out over the city, clutching a bottle. "Don't," she said. "I don't have a family anymore. You have me." "Do I?" Hope took his hand. "We figure it out. One step at a time." He broke, fell into her arms. Meanwhile, Finn and Kelly began to build something new. Tentative. Fragile. Real. Steffi stood between them, trying to hold her world together. But she knew everything had changed, and some fractures never heal. The media storm had calmed, but inside the lives of those at the center of it, the chaos only intensified. Kelly was back home, her body healing, her spirit quieter than usual. She'd stopped calling Liam Daddy, not because anyone told her to, but because kids know. She sensed the shift. She felt the distance. Liam visited only once since her return home. He brought a teddy bear and sat by her bed in silence for 10 minutes. She looked at him, unsure. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. When he left, he didn't look back. He returned to an empty loft. Bottles stacked behind the couch. His surgery had been postponed indefinitely. He told no one. He ignored follow-ups. Pain throbbed behind his eyes, the tumor growing quietly, invisibly. "I was her father," he muttered to himself one night. "I still am." But DNA doesn't care about feelings. And Finn had started acting like a father. He moved into the guest house on Steffi's property to be closer to Kelly. He took her to school, read to her at night. She called him Dad now shyly at first, then with growing confidence. Steffi watched this unfold with equal parts relief and dread. One night, while Finn tucked Kelly into bed, Steffi stood outside her daughter's room and listened to them laugh. It should have filled her with peace. Instead, it broke her heart. Because in Finn's eyes, she saw trust returning. In Kelly's voice, she heard stability. But in herself, all she saw was guilt. Liam breaks one afternoon. Liam showed up at Forrester Creations unannounced. Unshaven. Eyes hollow. He marched into Ridge's office without knocking. I want custody. Ridge looked up. Of who? Kelly. Ridge closed his laptop. Liam. Kelly isn't, she's my daughter. Maybe not biologically, but I raised her. I loved her. I bled for her. And now you all act like I never existed. You need to calm down. I want joint custody. 50-50. Legal and physical. I'm filing. Ridge stood. You're grieving, Liam. You're not thinking clearly. You don't get to tell me how I feel. You walked away from her, Liam. Because I was dying. And no one cared. Don't twist this into something it's not. I'm not letting Finn replace me. You already let him. Liam's jaw clenched. Then I'll see you in court. The custody war begins. Steffi was stunned when the papers arrived. Served at home, while she was brushing Kelly's hair before school. Finn's reaction was instant. He's unstable. He's unwell. He can't even stand upright without pills. He's not taking her. But Steffi hesitated. He was her father for 6 years. She loves him. He's hurting. You're not going to give him custody? I don't know what I'm going to do. That uncertainty cracked Finn's faith. She's my daughter, not his. If you don't defend that, then what are we even doing? I'm not going to erase him, Finn. I know what that feels like. So Finn hired an attorney. The best money could buy. A ruthless custody litigator who immediately subpoenaed Liam's medical records, therapy logs, and arrest history. Liam responded by going public in a sit-down interview with a major magazine. She may not be my daughter by blood, he said on record, but she's my child in every way that matters. The court can't take that away. Steffi's phone blew up. Brooke called. He's spiraling. Hope confronted him. You're using Kelly to hold onto your identity. Liam snapped. She's the last thing I have left. But it wasn't enough. In court, Finn's legal team laid out everything. Liam's drinking, his untreated condition, his volatile behavior, and, finally, his decision to delay brain surgery not because he was stable, but because he refused to accept reality. The judge requested a psych evaluation. Liam failed. The ruling was swift. Sole custody to Steffi. No visitation until Liam completed treatment and passed a full psychiatric clearance. Liam didn't take it well. He showed up at Steffi's that night, pounding on the door. You can't keep her from me. Finn met him outside. You need to leave. Now. I raised her. She's not yours. That broke something. Liam lunged. Finn shoved him back. Steffi ran outside, screaming. Neighbors called the police. When the squad car arrived, Liam was already on the ground, clutching his head, disoriented, mumbling about blood and time slipping. They took him to the hospital, not jail. Steffi followed the ambulance. She sat by his bedside while he slept. I never wanted this, she whispered. You loved her. I know. But this isn't love anymore. It's grief. The breakdown and the confession. Liam woke hours later. Groggy. Tethered to and for. Hope was there. Quiet. Still. You need help, she said. It's not shameful. But if you don't do it now, you'll never see her again. He turned his head away. Hope kissed his forehead and left. Later that night, Liam checked himself into treatment. Voluntarily. Steffi visited once. "I'll make sure she remembers you," she told him. "I hope she forgets," Liam said. "No, you don't." He didn't respond. Aftermath. A new beginning. Finn officially adopted Kelly. The paperwork was signed. Her name changed in the school registry. She became Kelly Hayes Finnegan. Steffi found a fragile peace, not because the pain was gone, but because she finally stopped running from it. She and Finn began therapy together. Not to fix what was broken, but to learn how to live with the cracks. Liam, after 3 months in rehab, emerged sober, quieter, and no longer interested in courtrooms or revenge. He returned to the cliffs one morning and sat alone, overlooking the ocean. In his hand, a photo of Kelly, age 3, holding his finger like it was the whole world. He smiled, not because he was healed, but because he finally let go.